The players of the WNBA can't stand her. Why? Because she's white. It's abject, absolute racism. It's total racism. And one of the things that's been admirable about Caitlin is she just continues to play her game and put points on the board. Instead, she decides to go racial. And what she says is she feels the need to acknowledge her white privilege. Basically, she's sorry she's white. She feels really bad about it, though.
Megyn Kelly, the former Fox News host who was told she had blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her whatever, to the same man she kissed the ring to, shares her thoughts on Caitlin Clark.
I guess the only way she would have made Megyn Kelly matter is if she came out in support of Black Santas, because we know that Megyn Kelly only believes Santa Claus can be white. I mean, that's the person whose opinion is chiming in on this. So it's not surprising she would have a problem with Caitlin Clark actually acknowledging the contributions, the sweat equity that Black women have put into this game.
Author, writer, journalist, host, and producer Jemele Hill heard the comments and refused to let them slide.
And then she makes a point of saying, the ones we really need to be celebrating are the black women on whose backs this league was built. Which I have to tell you is so condescending.
It really
is.
It's
true that most of these Black women have been bullying her and want her to understand it's their league. Hello, you don't own the league. Blacks don't own the league, just like whites don't own tennis or golf. Nobody owns the league. This is America. Anybody can play if they're good enough. But they want her on the knee. You'll bend the knee and you'll apologize for being white, and you will suck up to the Black women who built this league before you, or you will be beaten, you will be assaulted, and you will be bullied with no friends.
A genuine question. Is Megyn Kelly okay? Does she have mental clarity? There's so much here. First, more from Hill.
You can tell a lot. Well, let me just big picture this real quick, though, Dan, is that as Caitlin Clark's popularity was rising, and particularly after it exploded when her and Angel Reese met in that national championship game, she did the infamous Angel Reese John Cena motion, and we saw a certain section of people galvanizing around Caitlin Clark. We saw it then, and it only continued to grow. And there was a nice amount of disingenuous people who were not basketball fans, certainly not they were not women's basketball fans, to be clear. They were not fans of women's basketball. But Caitlin Clark became their avatar. She became their vessel to express a lot of the hateful and racist opinions that they had about Black women, about queer women, and about the WNBA overall, to some degree about all women. So she became their sort of bat signal for that.
Exactly. Bingo. On the money. And thus, we have Megyn Kelly hyper-focusing on Caitlin Clark and how she is ashamed to be white, per Kelly, because she made comments that promote inclusivity and openness to understanding the league as a whole, which Kelly does not.
So she does it. She finally did it. She bent the knee, self-flagellated over white privilege, and look at the Black women in this league. And I have to tell you, if I were a Black woman in that league, I think I'd say, screw you. Because don't treat me like I am the ugly stepsister and you are Cinderella, and no prince is going to look at me unless Cinderella says, oh, give her a little time. Oh, put her in the spotlight for a moment. I would be offended, genuinely offended by her. Like, look over there. Look at them. They're not white. They did a lot, too.
Well, thank God we only have to imagine Megyn Kelly being Black in her fantasy land, as she does not have the lived experience of being marginalized, oppressed, and systematically taken advantage of in this country. Thanks for weighing in, though.
She's been asked questions sort of along these same lines before, and while she didn't specifically mention white privilege, she has certainly always had a level of respect and reverence for the pioneers that came before her. I mean, one of the viral moments involving Caitlin Clark was when she finally met Maya Moore. Maya Moore is her favorite player ever. And that, by the way, shows the growth of the WNBA. You know, a lot of the players that when the WNBA first started, they had no professional model to look at in America to say, oh, I grew up watching this, professional women's player, because that possibility didn't exist. Caitlin Clark represents the generation that actually grew up watching the WNBA, familiarizing herself with this league, understanding the legacy and the history of this league. And all she was doing is giving a nod to that.
Exactly. Why is this so hard for Megyn Kelly to understand? Well, you probably know why at this point.
And here's the other thing. It's totally insincere. And here's how you know it's totally insincere. Because if Caitlin Clark really felt uncomfortable in the spotlight as the newbie who's white, because white people didn't build the league, she wouldn't have said yes to being Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year. So either walk the walk or don't. But what you're doing here is trying to have it both ways. You're too cute by half, and you've managed to piss off your fan base. Go ahead and look at my Twitter feed and the comments under my tweet on this. She's lost thousands of fans, maybe more, as a result of this. And you will never appease the race bullies in the WNBA, ever. Because you're too popular, you're too talented, and too white.
A laughable diatribe. First, the fans she had who are replying to you were more than likely never fans. They latched on to the great white hope myth in sports. Second, the only bully in this equation is you, Megyn. Look at you. Look at your words. You're pretending to be a victim because she stood up for minorities.
And she knows, like a lot of white players in the WNBA know, and they've said it, Kelsey Plum, Breanna Stewart, is that they get elevated, they get marketed, they get pushed in a way that Black women in that league who have accomplished similar things do not get the same endorsement opportunities, the same marketing. The marketing riddle of the WNBA prior to this moment has been, how do you market a league that is 70% Black, where a third of the players identify as queer? How do you do that? And that it has been a lot of marketing mistakes the WNBA has made in trying to sort of minimize that part of their identity. Or, a lot of people have certainly for years speculated that they push certain players because they're trying to kind of galvanize and interest white America with players they believe that they will get behind. So this has been a long-standing conversation in the WNBA. And Caitlin Clark, in her sense of leadership, she just stated the obvious. And now she has some very predictable people angry at her because they never were fans of hers. They just like the idea of weaponizing her success against other Black women who they can't stand.
Well, preach on here. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYT Sports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day. Calling out elite people in comedy should be the rule of thumb.
I think Donald Trump's hair is actually another creature.
Yeah.
The hair's like going, good night, Donald. Good night, Donald. There we go.
Maybe it goes out. It goes out and makes money while he's asleep.
Yeah. There is something about punching down that feels taboo, and punching up is the way to go.
Crack's not really my thing, but if it was, it would be fine if I was on that side.
Wow.
Don Jr.'s on coke.
We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated.
I'm a very stable genius.
It is very important, the work that the Jordan Kleppers are doing, the work that the Good Liars are doing, the work that our team here at the Turks are doing, and many more.
Used to see these tackles, now they tackle. Oh, head-on-head collision, bing, flag, footballs become soft.
You have Trump doing sound effects for tackles. The choice could not be more clear. Let's not beat around the bush about it.